8 rounds into the 2023 Area Cup Series season, and we head back to a fast racetrack where you're going to have the throttle pinned to the floor for the entire duration of this 140-lap event. We're going plate racing, or I guess you could call it super speedway racing, at the reformulated Atlanta Motor Speedway. Welcome back. It's round 9 of the 2023 Area Cup Series from Atlanta Motor Speedway. I'm Kyle Heyer, joined tonight by Hunter Slappy, Finney DeCuna, and Eric Wineland. And Finian, the last time we raced here, Ricky Springer won from a long ways back in the points and became a playoff contender. Maybe we'll see some more upsets tonight.
Yeah, I'm sure he's going to be a lot happy coming around this time this season because he's already got a win to his name. He's not on the verge of being kicked out and doing very well for himself in the points. Really, some other drivers definitely, though, down the order can probably use some better luck, and I'm sure they're going to be looking at this race as their chance to get themselves in the playoffs.
Yeah, as you see your playoff picture right here, the position that Springer won from last season in the points was 25th. So if you're all about superstitions, you want to be a Jeremy Miller type of guy because he's currently 25th in the points right now. But we got 7 drivers already locked in with a win. Only one with more than one win. James Kiley picking up the victory last week at Pocono, his second one of the season. We got Hartz, Kern, Cedric Hunter, JT Poole, and Brandon 6 above the cutoff by 10 points. But I would, for a race of this standard, Eric, I would look outside the cutoff as drivers who have a potential shot to win, like Connor O'Kresick, Jacob Bell, Michael Sturgill, or even the pick that I'm going for tonight, not Kosim Yonishiwu, Cosmin Yonishiwu, although I guess tonight I'll call him Kosim.
Yeah, unfortunate little grammatical error there, typo on our graphic, but yeah, it's another super speedway as Kyle said. So tonight, I mean, this race last year was race number 7 on the calendar. This is race 9 for this season. I say last season, which sparked Ricky Springer's 3 wins that season, which drove his playoff drive all the way to the championship 4. And so, or getting to at least a fight for the championship 4. Regardless, a guy like Garrett Grant, 21st in points, Bryce Senesac can really make something happen if they can find victory lane tonight at a track like Atlanta with the super speedway. And then they got another one coming up with Talladega in a few races time, Kyle, but all eyes tonight on the high banks here in Georgia.
Yeah, this calendar gets really interesting the next couple of rounds. We're at Atlanta here tonight running with basically, I guess, I want to say restrictor plates because that's the term that was burned into my brain, but really just super speedway racing. Then Road America.
Spacer races.
Yeah, I guess so. Road America next week for some road racing before we head to Indianapolis and Talladega, where we will begin our playoffs and finish out the season at Chicagoland Auto Club, Vegas, Richmond, and Homestead, Miami. But first, we got to finish round number 9, and we're going to head down and qualify in the next 10 minutes here as cars roll onto the racetrack. And Ricky Springer, winner last year, the number 51, here he goes.
Yeah, as you mentioned before, as I mentioned earlier, a lot less weight on his shoulders this time around, getting out there, and notably doesn't have VR still yet. He got his new computer, which is good to hear, but has not been able to set up VR yet, so hopefully he can get that set up and then back to his usual setup. And I think he would have probably liked VR because that is very useful for looking around really quickly, trying to see where drivers are when there are going to be so many drivers around you with inches with you at this type of track.
Do you guys know what his average running position was in last season's race?
No clue.
So thanks to our friends at Sim Racer Hub for providing this data for us. Kyle will get to talk about that more later on tonight. 5.6 was his average running position here in the race last season. Only 2 drivers were better than him. Also, another note, no double white or yellow line rule, whatever you want to call it here in qualifying, but we'll see that tonight in the race. But yeah, Ricky Springer average running 5.6 last season here, and he's looking to do the same.
So, Ricky Springer goes 4th quick.
That's a little intriguing.
JT Poole goes on the racetrack, and JT, as always, he just stuffed some pizza down the gullet. He's got Ricky Bobby right behind him. You see him breathing heavy. There's a little pizza burp there as he gets set to go qualifying. He's been impressive all season long, and he's rolling now.
Yeah, not only Brandon Bowie currently sitting on the top of the timing sheets in the 23 machine, notably finished very well here last season in 2nd, was one of his highest finishing positions throughout the Cup Series that he's been in, other than a 2nd place at New Hampshire. So,
what a lap from Cosman right there, Hunter. Your pick.
Yep, P2 for Cosman. They actually qualified fourth in this race a year ago, and oddly enough, finished fourth. Jake Nichols, not sure if he's going a little too slow around this part of the track.
Yeah, he's got
Unless he's just warming up.
a lap in the book. Oh, well, it's counting as lap 1, and so interesting here to give this a strategy call here.
I guess he's trying to. You guess he's playing and starting from the back.
I suppose.
No.
No?
Actually, I'm sorry. Yes, we only get one lap here.
Right.
I was thinking that his 2-lap strat, he was going to take off after he reached turn 3 and build his speed up. But yeah, as a reminder, including for myself, that I just forgot that rule. Only one lap on tracks bigger than a mile.
Here comes David Weishart to start his flying lap. Time to beat a 31.378. And only a tenth and a half between first and 12th right now.
Working his way off of turn 2 on the back straightaway, keeping that car as low as possible, so you're just cutting a little bit out of the corner, as mentioned. You can't go below the line in qualifying, so you're going to see these guys trying to make up as much time as possible, especially on the front straightaway, because they took up a huge amount of grass there. So you can use his apron to see him make a left turn right there. Come flying across, almost into the grass and across the line for Weishart. Isn't any good, though.
Sorta. P11.
It's 11.
P11.
It's fair. Oh, and there's Travis Beckner on the track, and the guy that I said to keep an eye on, Jeremy Miller, 25th in points, because Springer won this race from 25th in points a season back. Fourth quickest time on the board. Keep an eye on that 30.
So, report from the Solify Racing pits. Jake was going for the slowest qualifying lap in area history right there because he does want to start from the back, except that he forgot furrow and black flags exist. Oh. And obviously with a track like Atlanta with such high speed, you need to go at a decent pace. So, but yeah, the plan is from Mr. Jake Nichols that he wants to start at the back tonight and avoid the carnage, as he said.
I mean, he'll get that wish.
Yeah, well,
That's one way to do it.
Last year's race here was only 5 cautions, so it wasn't a ton of wrecking, but it is a super speedway. As Ricky Bobby climbs back in his seat while we look at Brad Slaughter finish a qualifying lap here. Start a qualifying lap, excuse me.
I was just impressed that he left his sim one way and returned a different way. I just walked off screen, and it's like a sibling just sat down. Meanwhile, let's have a look at what Michael Curran has for us tonight. The area shop, its new slogan, will drive headfirst through the turn 1 wall of Pocono to deliver your order as fast as possible in a million pieces.
Speaking of which, he qualified in 10th place, so pretty much smack dab in the middle of the order. And Brad Slaughter, who we're looking at on screen, up to 6th in his car. Ryan Hart's one of the only guys out there on a flying lap. Notably, a lot of guys, you can see on the left-hand side on the timing, a lot of guys electing not to qualify. So far, yeah, they might get out there, but a lot of guys taking their sweet time.
So
Yeah, at least not yet.
Go ahead. Sorry about that, Hunter. I was gonna say in sim time 4:33 at virtual Atlanta, so the track can still cool off. It's 110 right now, but I don't really think a cool track's gonna help you very much with 1 lap qualifying. As Ryan Hartz puts a time on the board for 10th. Also, you were looking at the cameras, the in-sim cameras that some of the guys are providing for us, Kyle. I was looking at Connor O'Krezik's on a different type of wheel. He's on a Formula rim compared to everyone else's generic stock car racing rim, where it's a nice big circle. Connor's rocking the old the Formula style rim.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think it's the same rim I have on my wheel at the moment.
Connor Horn praying to the racing gods right now? What's going on?
I mean, you might, at these kind of races, you kind of have to.
Oh, nope, there's the answer. It's the phone.
Well,
he's got a flashlight on his face. He's setting up the studio lighting for you, Kyle. He just wants to use the best camera
pizza
shot.
Cam. JT getting after it.
That is one thin piece of pizza.
Yeah, that looked like garbage pizza, if I had to be honest. It's not good looking pizza. It looks dry.
What? So since we can jump into this, what's everyone's type of pizza? Like, I'm a deep dish guy.
You can see that he's on screen.
Well, so I live in Chicago, and deep dish hits a spot now and then. But I'm still a fan of, like, the New York style pizza. But no, see that? Oh God, what is that?
Is that just regular cheese and pepperoni?
Looks like lasagna
or?
that got run over by a cop car.
Yeah, I was gonna say it looks like pizza that got run over in the box.
Do better.
Well, the real
is he
question
eating
is,
white
do you
pizza?
prefer the question is, do you prefer more cheese or more sauce on your pizza?
More cheese.
More cheese.
Cheese.
Okay. Well, I like more sauce.
What we got over here?
All right.
What is that Ricky is drinking? Pull that back into shot,
Oh,
Ricky.
I
I'll
think
just say that's an energy drink. No,
Those are
that's a-
gloves.
So, I can't tell what his shirt says. I still won't disclose where he works, but it's high profile, and I commend him for where he works.
Oh, he's going to show it to us. Andretti. Is it Andretti Autosport?
Yeah. Yes.
Oh.
That's cool.
Say, I've talked to Ricky before. He does help with a little bit of the prep for Andretti going to the IndyCar weekends. It's pretty cool. And we got Connor O'Kresick here with the...
Wow, look at those gloves.
Those are some gloves.
That's suited
Those
for
are
Ricky
some-
Bobby.
You know, who is it that wants the white gloves on every driver?
What is
They
oh,
get Townsend
Put a helmet
Bell.
with a hat on.
There's the helmet. There's what we saw pre-race.
There
ladies
you
and
go.
gentlemen.
Well, Kresick is ready to smash into his living room wall at 160 virtual miles an hour. Chris Rabel, 13th place in qualifying, but the entertainment is off the track right now. Put it on his virtual Hans device, too. He's got a Hans, dude. He's putting it on a Hans
Solid Rock.
device.
Solid
impressive.
Rock is going all in because I know Connor races, I think, a late model. JT was showing me clips of him in his legend car, and he just
Where's the
grabbed
helmet?
his helmet.
Why is he
So,
taking the
JT
Michael
Poole-
Jackson approach? I just realized he's only got one glove.
Oh, no.
We are prepared for 15 cautions.
We are
Wait, that's the
prepared.
truck series.
We are
That's
in.
the truck series. That's not the Cup series.
Well, Ricky's amped, and so are we. So let's get serious for a second. We've got some partners and people to thank before we get rolling here. Tonight, race fans, be sure to subscribe to the Area iRacing Twitch channel. For only $5 a month, you can watch all area broadcasts commercial-free. You can also use new Area iRacing emotes in the chat and earn double channel points as a subscriber that you can use to redeem for free merchandise. In just a moment, we'll go over our Roasted Gems coffee starting lineup. Race fans, start your engines with a fresh cup of Roasted Gems coffee. Choose from some of the finest coffee beans from Colombia and Peru, or try the blended flavors of French vanilla and hazelnut. Use discount code Area iRacing for 10% off your order at checkout at roastedgems.com. What is going on in Connor O'Kresick land right now? Well, he's
Oh, did he get a race
He
suit
put
on?
his fire suit on. Yes. While you were reading the
Oh, boy.
sponsor reads, I'm over here laughing because Connor O'Kresick is going all out for tonight's race.
What is
I really
left?
These
hope
guys
he's got
get set to
AC or
grid.
something, because it's in where I am. It's kind of hot. I can only
I
imagine
don't-
how it is with a fire suit and a helmet on.
Well, what's his? Where did he qualify?
Oh, it's off.
I took it off.
He's
Jake.
mid
That's smart.
Well, let's
south,
speak-
so it's
speaking of qualifying.
probably a little hot.
Let's go through our Roasted Gems Coffee starting lineup and get the show on the road here for tonight's event. Let's kick things off with row number 1. It's going to be starting off with Brandon Bowie and his number 23 Toyota alongside JT Poole, the number 26 Chevrolet.
Moving on back to row number 2, it's going to be Kazun Yoneshiwa in the 84 on the inside lane. Next to him, Douglas Newbigin in the 71 in 4th place.
In 5th place, row 3, it's Jeremy Miller in the number 30 trying to find some luck and move forward in the standings. Nick Silver starts 6th in the number 46.
Brad Slaughter is going to be rolling off from 7th place on the grid in the 83. Next to him, Cedric Hunter in the 07 in 8th place.
9th place, Rafe Slate in the number 8 Chevy Camaro. Jordan Martin in bow tie, number 11, rolls off 10th.
Moving back to 11th, Ryan Hartz in the 3 is going to be starting inside. Next to him, the 12th place, last season's winner in this race, 51 of Ricky Springer in 12th.
13th place, Chris Rabel, the number 29 Ford Mustang. Michael Curhan starts 14th in the 24.
David Weiser's been rolling off from the 33 car in 15th place. Next to him, Jacob Bell in the 77 in 16th.
17th place, it's Bryce Senesac in the 09. Ryan Swan starts 18th in the number 67 Camaro.
Back in 19th, Ben Pierce in the 65 and 19th. And then next to him, rounding out your top 20, Michael Sturgill in the 17 car.
Garrett Grant and Travis Beckner make up an all Toyota row number 11, the number 5, 21st, and the number 28, 22nd.
Moving on back to 23rd, Chris Seidenfeld in the 45s on the inside. Next to him, Connor Kresick in the 14, who we're just looking at. It's going to be rolling off from 24th.
Well, he'll have a long way to go forward. So will James Scioli, 25th place for the number 7 Chevy Camaro. Jonathan Cogswell, 26th in the 27.
Back in 27th is going to be Ed Robertson in the 64. Next to him, 28th is the 73 of Jake Nichols. He's got a long way forward to the front.
29th, Connor Horn from the back of the field to the front. Will be fun to watch. Cameron Hearn starts 30th, the number 4.
Moving on back to 31st, Alonso Ballard in the 21 machine. Next to him, Tyler Nichols in the 41 and 32nd.
And the last row, it is Frankie Barroso in the number 12 and Dwayne Culberson in the 81. Time for our picks. Vinny DeCuno, who you got?
Who do I got? I'm going to pick the 23 of Brandon Bowie. Finished really well again. Finished second last season here. I think he's got what it takes. Got to be starting from the pole now to get that win.
Hunter Sleppy, what you got?
Well, I said it before qualifying, Cosman Yonishiwu, and he qualified third, so I'm even more confident about my pick.
And Eric Wineland, before you head down to pit lane, who is your pick to win this 140-lap race?
Finian took my pick, Kyle, because I was going to say Brandon Bowie had an average running position at 2.5 here last season, so let's go with the hometown kid. Brad Slaughter Jr. gets it done tonight.
Well, none of y'all picked last year's winner. I'm taking the 51 of Ricky Springer. Here we go. 140 laps in round number 9 of the Area Cup Series season. We are going racing from Atlanta. Bowie in command of the number 23 Toyota. He will start this race from the most advantageous position in this 34-car field. The green flag is in the hands of the starter, and we are green at Atlanta. Side by side, still even lanes as we complete the first of 140 laps. 139 to go. The outside lane now with a bit of momentum here. JT Poole leads the way, Finian, through 1 and 2.
You're going to see if he can try to take the outside lane. Be interesting to see what some of the aerodynamic changes we've seen in the car since we've last been racing with them here. How it's going to change. We've seen on the outside, looks like they're starting to build up some momentum. Thing is, 26 stay up there, stay with his partner, or will he come down and take the lead away from the 23 in the inside lane?
I think you just stay on the outside unless you can find a way to get both cars on the outside lane. The way I see it, from the spring race earlier in real life racing, that outside lane just seems like it is the place to be. Although Bowie's still trying to make a run for it on the bottom, double file all the way around.
Still side by side. Ooh, wiggle and a wobble there from the 26 out front. Everybody still line astern here, and it's single file deep in the field. Pretty much from, it looks like Scioli, maybe Cogswell on back, but dead even lines here, Finian. Which one is going to prevail? So far, they're pretty even. I think I'd be more comfortable on the bottom, taking off laps in this race, but the top seems pretty quick, too.
I guess the also big thing, too, is how hard are these guys pushing, because, again, we still got a long ways to go in this race, and you're not going to win it on lap 4 of 140. So I think a lot of these guys are going to be riding around a little bit here. We're probably not going to see a third lane till later on in the run, so I think for the most part, these guys are going to be, truly pushing, maybe to try to lead a lap, but otherwise there's not really much of a reason to push that hard.
Eric Wineland, what you got?
So I was talking to Finian about this before you joined us pre-race, Kyle. The pit window tonight, these guys can go 65 laps if they're leading the pack. So expect these guys, 3 to 5 rows back to really take it easy, and they can maybe make it a one stop. If they can save 5 laps worth of fuel, I would not be surprised to see some of these guys in the back already doing so, to see if they can make it to lap 70.
Bit of discombobulation, perhaps. JT Poole kind of wandering around the racetrack up to a third lane maybe as Newbegin looks to the center. maybe 3 wide would be too much chaos to bring too early into this mix, Finian.
Yeah, I definitely think it'll be way too early. Whoa, is it a bit of a stack on the inside lane? Saw Yonoshibu get pinched a little bit by Jeremy Miller in behind. Went up to his back bumper and looking at Delonte Ballard a little bit further on back.
Yeah, that's what I thought you were looking at Delonte. I saw him get a little squirrely off too and corralled it for a bit, but yeah, that bottom line is starting to fade a little bit. That outside lane going about 2 cars advantage on the inside for now, but he's still coming back on the bottom.
JT Poole has the top spot for the time being. As we roll around on lap number 7 of 140, they're going to tick away pretty quickly at this pace. Pretty good clip so far at the start of this race. That bottom lane still led by Bowie, and no one's really made much of a move, just kind of searching around for grip and for some clean air, but it's going to be hard to make progress tonight, I think.
Oh, definitely, especially if you're one of those guys that's decided to start way further back. Jake Nichols, Connor Horn, James Cowley all in the back of the field. And again, they got a lot of laps to work with, and I know they're just planning on just kind of riding it out there, waiting the big wrecks out, keeping their stuff intact. But if you're going to want to start moving, you're going to want to definitely plan that out in advance, because there isn't a whole lot of racetrack. That being said, they're going 3 wide in the middle of the field. Well,
that's getting a little slicey dicey right there.
Hunter got very close to the 83. They touched a little bit entering turn 1. And we got Eric Wyman back with us in the booth.
Solid Rock performance update for you guys.
There's nowhere to go.
I'm just a big chilling.
I think we all are, honestly.
Yeah, big chilling.
7 out of 140.
Just happened at this outside line.
Yeah, Dylan, that gap closed quick. So,
Ooh, bottom's gonna check here.
So that was Rafe and Ryan complaining there is nowhere to go right now. They are basically gridlocked, but Ricky found a place to go. He's stuck in the middle 3 wide.
Yeah, 3 wide in the middle of the racetrack, and you have to worry about the lack of air in the center there, but he jumps up to the outside groove and picks up at least a couple of spots. Started 12th, fell back to 15th place, and is now moving up a little ways. Up for the lead, though. JT Poole drops to the bottom. He and Bowie have swapped places.
Yeah, I was going to say, some other guys have managed to move up some spots. Chris Rabel in the 29 and fit these up 8 spots. David Weishart in behind him in line. He's running 7th after also picking up 8 spots. So it's possible if you can pick the right lanes at the right time in traffic, you can slowly move your way up. But again, you can't rush your way up. You got to be so methodical within what we saw with Ricky Springer making some moves in the middle, opening up that middle lane to just try to make a quick pass and then getting back on that outside.
Although it may not seem possible, it definitely is possible for those in the back that can make their way towards the front. I'm looking at the results from last year. 4 of the top 10 drivers started from 30th or worse in the field. And the worst of them was Dwayne Culberson, started dead last and finished 6th. And Culberson's currently back in 32nd, 33rd right now. So it's definitely possible, but good ride-in car here with Ricky Springer, fellow Georgia native, in front of him as well as Brad Slaughter.
Up to the high side now. He's going to go 3 wide again. The 83 is Slaughter's found himself middle of the 30 car. Sideways and in the wall. They're going to bump draft down the back straightaway. Everybody scatters. That's a tense moment as you follow as more trouble behind them. At that time, it's the number 24 of Curhan who got up into the fence.
Yeah, I saw this in practice too, where a lot of guys are getting really close to that outside wall, and it almost seemed to just suck them into it when they got too close. So that's definitely one thing you want to be careful of, because with everyone running at such a high rate of speed, you get yourself caught in that outside wall, you could cause a stack up and be involved in a wreck yourself. So definitely one thing to be considerate of. I'm surprised that Ricky just decided to give a huge bump to the back of the 30 though, then back out, but it helped him move up one more spot as Yonoshibu was now in the lead.
Yeah, big effects going on up front. Cosme, she was taking over as the race leader. Slaughter has now found his way on the outside lane.
Oh, wow.
Oh my goodness, that was, they were risking it there. The 3 and the 33 collided on the front stretch, but somehow kept it going.
David Weishart almost crashed right in front of the field. Watch this as they come out of turn 4 off the bumper of JT Poole. Huge slide there. Gathered it up and they'll continue, but that's a change of underpants at the first pit stop, I think.
For a lot of drivers, I mean, if you're one of the other drivers sitting right behind that would have taken out the entire field there on the front stretch. That would have been a huge crash. So just narrowly avoided disaster, and you're just kind of seeing how tense you can imagine a lot of the guys up front are feeling right now, especially after seeing something like this, and they are still super close together.
That definitely ruffles up your feathers if you're inside that top 10. That happened right in front of you, but 3 cars on the inside line break away as Weishart's trying to get a run on the outside of Hartz again, but Chris Rabel, haven't talked about him too much. He's currently running second right now, and looking in the point standings, Chris Rabel's 20th, so if he gets this win and stays inside the top 20, he too could make the postseason, but he's got a hard-charging David Weishart on the outside, Kyle.
Yeah, up from 13th place in the early moments for Chris Rabel. As for Weishart, 15th up to 3rd place. So drivers had some trouble moving early, but there are a few that have kind of broken through that mold and up into a contentious position for the top spot. But Cosmo Yoneshiwu in the 84 leads the way here as we complete lap number 17. It's getting pretty frantic looking out front, and this is what I recall last year, Finian, is it got pretty scrappy, but we stayed green for quite some time.
Yeah, I think, again, it really depends on how much these guys are somewhat holding themselves back, because we still have a lot of racing to go, and we still have to make it to the first pit stop. And speaking of pit road, Eric, what do you got from us?
They still got a long way before they can finally visit me, unless they get a yellow, Finian. But I got radio for you guys. I mean, take your pick. Do you want Brandon Bowie and Bowie Esports, or do we want to listen to Brad Slaughter Jr.?
That's Brad Slaughter Jr. He's been in the middle of a lot tonight.
Yeah, so here's Brad, right as he got stuck 3 wide in the middle there.
I don't know.
You're clear. You have a choice. You're inside too, because clear. If you want it.
So Chris Seidenfaden, rolling with Brad in Discord tonight, so they are working together. Chris helping him out. Also, so I'll give you Brandon Bowie's and Bowie Esports here. Frankie Barroso running. Where's he at here, Kyle? He's like down toward the tail end of the pack. 31st. So this man has to be a spotter in a second life, because listen into how he communicates to his team.
Yeah, it's still 2x2 behind you, Bowie. There's no 3 wide.
Different.
It looks like the top is a tad bit more organized.
A lot of checking though.
Yeah. The first 5 and the bottom are a little tighter than the first 5 and the top, but after that, the top definitely has that covered. So you might not be able to get the energy you need, but once they get tight, then you can kind of draw even.
Yeah.
So some great insight there from Frankie Barroso, Kyle, but I don't know that I could do that while driving.
A couple things to note on that comment, actually, is one of them was the fact that he is watching and spectating from the rear of the field. You can't see what's directly in front of you because he's, as Dale Jr. said, giant-ass spoilers, but you can see what's well ahead of you because the cars climb up the banking and they come into your view. The other thing he mentioned was the term energy. I love using that term here when we talk about racing in this style, because it's all about energy and momentum management, Finian.
Yeah, absolutely. When you consider, the aerodynamics of these cars, you constantly talk about side drafting. That is also a huge factor in how much energy you got going, because you got the aerodynamics slowing you down. You got less energy coming out of these corners. So it's a huge factor you have to talk about, especially if you're going to try to spot it. It's just really funny because normally when you think of spotters, they're usually watching you from up above, not necessarily driving with you on the racetrack.
They're further enough back, though, they can get a good vantage point of the first 10 cars or so. So great insight from Barroso as they continue to shuffle it out for the lead. Weishart's dropped in front of the 84 Yoneshiwu, but he's still leading on the outside in car with JT Poole as he's navigating his way, trying to navigate his way inside the top 5 again. He's almost on the cutoff of the top 10.
He had his tongue hanging out. He was focusing so hard right now. Down to 10th place, and he has led a couple of laps, 8 of the 24 that we have completed so far, as he continues to parade on that bottom groove. Different energy on the inside versus the outside, but no prevailing line. It looked like for a little while it would be that top side, Finian, but now it's dead even again as Weishart ticks away some laps as the leader.
I really think it also depends on who's in those lines. Some drivers tend to push a little bit more than others, especially at this point in the run. So depending on who you got lined up, as Weishart jumps to the top side, Yoneshi will go back on the bottom. While the top side's been able to get momentum, we've been seeing all the leaders pretty much running down on the bottom lane. So definitely something to note for later.
That was close.
Big shot to the rear bumper of Weishart from Brandon Bowie in the number 23. We head up onto the front straightaway again, and they're getting tighter and pushier and shovier as they go on, and I think that's just a fact of life as everyone gets accustomed and comfortable with the way their car is handling. And I think there's definitely a component of getting too comfortable at some point, and that's when we'll see our first wreck.
Oh, absolutely, especially when you're starting to fall in line. And then really the worst part is when you start to finally make moves after sitting in for so long. Might not understand exactly how your car is handling, might make a wrong move here and there. And remember, too, the big thing is there is going to be tire wear. It's going to be a bit of a factor here compared to Daytona or Talladega because the corners are a lot more tighter. The wear and the load on the tires is a lot higher than those tracks. So that is going to definitely be a factor, especially towards the end of the run.
Boy, I did not expect to see the top 5 shuffling this much, but I start still leaning on the top, but now Bowie and Nick Silver have made their way towards the bottom. How about Jeremy Miller? He got into the wall a little bit early in the going, and now he finds himself inside the top 5, charging to the front as they pass by Eric Weiland. Eric, what you got for us?
Yeah, I'm not going to feed my mic through for you guys where I'm standing out on pit road right now, but Travis Beckner is worried more about other things than racing. Listen in.
Hey, Garrett, guess what? Another checkup going into 3.
I hear you. Travis, you're talking about green flag stops. We got 45 laps to go on fuel.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm lit. But I'd be like,
hey, Garrett, what's my wheel color? Did I change my wheel color from orange to green? Can you look real quick?
What color? You
Orange
can't
to
change
green.
Oh. Yeah, you were green last week.
All right, just making sure.
Or not green, but maybe black. I don't know. You're definitely not orange anymore. Because in set screenshots, you're fine.
So 25 laps into the race, guys, and Travis Beckner's more worried about his wheel color. Also, I had this great interaction. I'll let you guys chew on that in a minute. If we can ride on board with Michael Curran, he was pretty chill. Michael Curran drives for Fazekas Motorsports, and unfortunately, he's all by his lonesome, as I believe Finian may or may not have highlighted earlier. I know he checked in with it on this. Cameron Hearn, I believe, on vacation, so he was a starting park tonight. Michael Curran by himself. Listen in. Riding solo in here.
Yes, all my teammates are gone. Just kind of like last year, riding by myself.
All the way to a championship 4, right?
Well, that would be nice. That's what I'm trying to do.
Whoa.
Season's been rougher than last year, though. So, just kind of riding right now, though.
And 4. Thanks for chatting.
Thanks for visiting.
So Michael Curran having a good time, even though he's by himself, but it's a little sketchy to his inside right there, Finian.
Yeah, we're just watching there on the back straightaway. I think there's a bump gone wrong. Hit him in the wrong spot. It's with Brandon Bowie getting a punt from behind.
46 of Nick Silver that gave him a shot there and knocked that car sideways at north of 180 miles an hour of all things. So
yeah, I mean, we talk about we're talking about complacency. That's gonna, especially when with all race kind of lulls out. Well, I'm sure some of these drivers are kind of in cruise mode. That definitely wakes you up. You start to see a car wiggle in front of you.
Had a couple of close calls towards the top 5 early in the going, and now we see a fresh new set of faces. And as soon as I say that, Senesac falls back to 6th, but haven't talked about him too much. He's been quietly working his way on the outside. Boy, look at the run they get. Look at the bump from Miller to Newbigging. They're kind of 3-car breakaway towards the bottom, but now Bowie's coming back. Also, just talk about Michael Curran. He is inside this top 10, as well as Jacob Bell. Haven't heard from him too much. Got a quiet race going on so far, and 33 laps in.
worth noting, Jeremy Miller self-describes himself as, quote, the plate goat. Every time we come to a place like Talladega, Daytona, or now Atlanta, he seems to be in the conversation.
Yeah, I was going to say, he was doing pretty good at Daytona. Got taken out, unfortunately, early on. Never really got to show his true potential there, but definitely started to flex his muscles here in Atlanta. He's doing so good. Started in the top 5, still running in 4th. You'd expect that third car is going to try to stay in the front there all day long because he loves this type of racing.
He's currently running in the 3rd spot. Would like to be a couple more positions better, but don't know if he can get his way towards the bottom and see if they can get a run. The bottom is more stacked, but up front, you're not really getting that much of a run. It's a 4-car breakaway almost between Those on the outside, and then Brandon Bowie, and now he's got a big run. Oh, look out! Senesac and Curran got a little closer.
Noticing that when the drivers have their choice of lane, like Weishart, Newbigging, and Miller do, they're kind of running mid-track in the corners, and that's not something I expected. I thought we'd be all top or all bottom, but middle of the road it seems, and Bowie, Silver, and Kazuma Yonishiwu have nowhere to go really, and going the long way around requires you to drive so close to that wall that it's not a risk worth taking at this stage, so middle track it is.
Yeah, I was going to say, well, it is a mile and a half, so it still drives somewhat like a mile and a half, although with the banking and the pavement, it helps a lot to make it more full throttle. So these guys are still arcing the corners a little bit. And I'll tell you, really is starting to win out a little bit more. Bowie seems to be struggling to get back, and there's just not a whole lot of guys connected on the bottom lane. They're a lot more separated out compared to the guys on the bottom top.
Could also be a good tire wear issue if we're riding on border with Ryan Hart. So there was a little kerfuffle right there, but I have to think tire wear would have to play a factor into this because, like Eric said, fuel run, these guys could go 60 to 65, maybe 70 laps. And if you're on that bottom, I'm seeing a lot more checkup on the front stretch here than the back stretch. So the outside line has it better going where they don't have to check up as much, but the inside line going to be wearing a little more of the tire that's trying to stop each other from wrecking each other.
Yeah, I don't remember the tires being an enormous deal last year, but we are seeing about a half a second slower than our fastest lap of the race, so maybe that things have changed since a year ago. Connor Horn runs 29th, started in 29th. It looks like he's just biding his time, Finian, saving the car for later in this race after any potential issues have happened. The challenge I have with this strategy always is that the potential for this race to go green is pretty high, and then what? Then you got to pass everybody when everyone gets amped up later in this race. It gets hard, so...
Oh, massive checkup on the inside lane up in front of him.
Oh,
For
maybe
the
they will clear each other out.
Gonna see, yeah, right. Bryson is actually now a new leader, so they got shuffled on that inside lane. But yeah, no, I think a lot of them are just waiting because everyone knows that there's going to be that pit stop happening around lap 65, lap 70. I'm sure everyone's going to try to make it to lap 70 if they can, which is coming up in a relatively short period of time. They're getting close moving. Some guys close off of the wall in turn 2. So I think a lot of guys are just going to wait for that pit stop, see where they come out, and then finally make a charge. And hopefully the field's a little thinner with everyone getting somewhat spread out on pit stops.
Talking about making the charge in a relatively short period of time. A lap ago, Senesac got moved to the bottom, and he's not going to lead it this time by, but he's got a strong run from Bowie going into turn 1. He might take the lead here.
It carried a lot of speed, almost washed up into the side of the 33 from 17th to 2nd place now, and hasn't yet led a lap, but he is in the conversation absolutely as Newbegin gives a big shot to Weishart. This 71 has been in the mix since the drop of the green flag. Started 4th, good qualifying effort, and now he runs as that second car on the outside, and he has not budged from there.
No, has not budged at all. I think he's just happy to sitting in behind the 33. Eric Weiland's back with us. Eric, what you got?
Oh, Douglas Newbigging is very happy, Finian. Listen in.
Although the way I'm saving tire and the way Weishart's driving, I think we'll probably be able to keep it the way it is, like this whole entire rest of the run, honestly.
Oh, play low.
It's the only one that's saving as much as me is Jeremy right now, tire-wise.
We're only about halfway through this run, so curious to see how the tires feel at the end here. We're only 35 laps soon.
So that's the Lucky Duck Motorsports camp. Douglas Newbigging feeling comfortable behind David Weishart right now. He says he's saving a lot of tire, just like Jeremy Miller. I'm curious to see how Bryce Senesac and Brandon Bowie maybe feel with their tire situation being on the bottom the way they are. If these guys were going to two-stop this race, Kyle, Finney, and Hunter, I would expect to see them within the next 2 to 5 laps to start to break it up into thirds. I highly doubt we're going to see that, considering right there James Scioli confirmed for me that they're expecting a one-stop halfway through the run at lap 35, he said. So that'll get him to lap 70. That's the halfway mark of the race. Meanwhile, we got some radio from Connor Horn and Jeremy Miller, who is riding behind Douglas Newbigging. Jeremy feeling comfortable as well.
I'm just chilling. Jeremy's not.
I mean, I'm just riding in line. I feel like I'm getting some of the best runs on exit compared to the guys around me, which is almost hurting me, but it is what it is right now. I don't know if I'm throttling up differently or if I just did a better job with the tires, though.
I feel like my strategy is going to be to push very close to green flag stops. Like when everyone's getting ready to come down, it's probably when I'll come down and then try to get as close to the main pack as possible instead of just sitting here behind Jake. But Jake will probably do the same thing. I don't know. I don't really want to stay behind him.
I'm just struggling to save fuel.
So Connor Horn right there running 28th behind Jake Nichols, as you see in our pictures. And then Jeremy Miller riding 4th behind Douglas Newbigg and feeling comfortable up front. Guys, I'm expecting, considering I've seen nobody so far here on pit road yet, this is absolutely a one-stop, and these guys are just biding their time till they get to lap 70. Yeah,
and playing the game here is such a long way to go at a track like this. Good fuel economy, actually, all things considered. Finian, we're almost to lap 50. It has been pretty interesting, and not like we've been sitting in line. We've been pretty racy up here towards the front. So far, so good as we track our way towards that halfway point. 47 of 140 complete.
Yeah, I was going to say the laps are taking off, and they have been pretty racy, though it has noticeably calmed down. I've noticed a lot more guys giving each other space compared to where they started, and they're all riding up on each other's bumpers. And again, I want to think might be a mixture of either guys trying to just take it easy, just make sure that the tires last the stint, they're not going to overuse them, because that inside lane is still struggling to bounce back, and then also just try to back off just to save some extra fuel.
It might be, I honestly think it might be the tire wear, because when Senesac first came down, he had a great pace of speed over the last few laps, over the first few laps since dropping down, but since then he's kind of faded back to where it's a 3 to 4 car breakaway on the outside where they could come down if they want, but you have the occasional run here or there from the 09, but that outside line, they just get such a nice run off the corner. Oh, questionable bump there from Bowie to Senesac, but outside line, although very little cars, they're very organized on exit.
0.7 of a second drop off in lap times from the beginning of the run to now. And like I said, last year, I don't remember the tire wear being a huge factor. These tires have been pretty rock hard, especially at road courses. But here tonight, it looks like a bit of a different conundrum. Tire wear definitely going to play into how these cars are handling and why this is, I don't want to say stringing out, that's the wrong word for it, but maybe calming down as everyone is focusing more on the handling and rather that than throwing moves everywhere. So look at this, the 46 of Nick Silver. We haven't talked about him a whole lot either. Started 6th, he's been running in the top 10 since the drop of the green flag fitting, and here he is.
I was going to say, I don't really talk about this 46 car a whole lot in general, but he's having a really good run here tonight in that 46 machine. I'm trying to actually even see where he's running in the points. I'll try to come back to you on that, but having a very
really good run. Yeah, Nick Silver 17th in points. Connor Horn nonchalantly just turning the wheel. This
one-handed.
Yeah, well, might be one-handed. No, he's got both still, but it's just so nonchalant because he's so far back. Doesn't have to worry about driver duty, inside, outside, check up here, check up there. Very calm for now. Obviously, want to be closer towards the front towards the end, but just bunks time, waiting for everything to unfold in front of him.
Working lap 52 of 140. Laps clicking away pretty quick. 30.5 seconds. And the front 4 now single filed out. And I wonder how much David Weishart, while leading this field, is burning fuel in comparison to Newbegin and others who have been following from the entire race so far up to this point, frankly.
Yeah, and that 65 laps that you can make it, that number is from running out there by yourself in clean air, full throttle, you know, you can't back off. And oh, he gets really close to, I'm trying to see who that is coming off of turn 2. Got really close to a driver. But he's definitely going to be burning quite a bit of gas. I wonder if he's safe, because if he is low, there's no reason for him not to just kind of pull out, drop back in a couple spots in line and save. So I want to think he knows that he's good to go, because there's no reason to put himself in a situation where he has to make an extra stop.
That's another thing. If we do get pit stops under green flag conditions, how will the effect be heading into pit road? Because we saw early on with Eric Weiland in the pre-race how tough it is to transition off the banking and then get it down to pit speed. And that was just with one car. Imagine trying to do that with 5, 10, 15 other drivers at the same time.
It'll be hectic, that's for sure. It always is, as the field continues to circulate here. David Weissart continues to click away, leading laps, critical laps to lead, but they'll only to pay points and wins at the end of this race. And the rest is all about positioning, which Jake Nichols, Garrett Grant, Connor Horn, and many others are setting up to do. It's all about positioning for the late stages of this one. And Jake Nichols has also been very quiet tonight.
Has been very quiet tonight, but again, it makes sense. Just kind of waiting for the right moment to strike. Doesn't want to risk putting the car in a bad situation, taking himself early on. He's also in a situation where it really doesn't even matter where he finishes in this race. I mean, if anything, trying to get that second win of the season, I imagine that's really all he's going out for there for. Doesn't need to lead a lap, doesn't need to worry about a whole lot until the playoffs start. So you might as well just save your car for the good stuff near the end.
Not a bad strategy, but Weissart continuing to lead, and just going to look at it, his cup stats, his best finish of the season has been 24th. Other than that, it's been 32nd, 34th, 24th, and 35th, going all the way back to Daytona. So the 33 of Weissart looking for a change of pace as we ride on board with Ricky Springer and hear from Eric Wiley down in the pits.
Well, Hunter, things are not good in David Weissart land. Listening, checking in. Curious on the fuel situation of car 33.
I'm way short.
Fuel situation is terrible. Thanks for asking.
Yeah, I'm way short. I got to pit in like 10 laps.
And then we have 20 laps.
I ain't racing for points though, so it don't mean nothing to me. I just want to lead laps.
Bold strategy, Captain.
Fuel situation, I have to give it a 2 out of 10.
Yeah.
So straight from the pit box of, straight from the cockpit of R33 right there. Finian, Kyle Hunter, and David Weissart not good on fuel. He's going to have to pit here in about, so that radio message is about 5 laps old. So I'll be seeing him here down pit road in about 5 laps.
Yeah, interesting to note. 29 a Rabel really high. Big slide by everybody on the back straightaway. A couple cars trading lines from top to bottom. Bryce Senesac has fallen to the back of this group, Finian.
Oh boy. Sorry, Chris got very close there in the middle of 3.
Yeah, but it's hard to see Senezik drop all the way back there, but I guess he's had enough. I feel like we usually see that. Guys go up near the front and they get a little bit sick of things. Things get a little bit too hectic and then they drop on back. And speaking of dropping back, Eric Kleiman's back with us in the booth. What you got, Eric?
Yeah, so you guys started talking about Bryce Senesac. It was a perfect time for me to jump in with Bowie's Esport Radio. They were fed up with the 09. Listen in.
Ah, man. Like I feel like if I shove him too hard, he's gonna go in the corner, he's gonna slide up, and he's gonna tag somebody. So it's like I gotta be careful how hard I actually push him.
I think if anything, you might be getting too tight if that's the case.
Well, I'm fine. I'm worried about him. I'm worried about me pushing him into somebody.
That's what I'm saying. If anything, he's probably tight. You probably got the fronts burnt off of it. Because if you're pushing up into him, that means he's just trying to turn the wheel as hard as he can, and it just won't turn.
Yeah. Yeah, because I mean, come out the corner like I'm on his bumper, like I'm there.
So that was Brandon Bowie and Nick Silver talking about how they were following Bryce Senesac on the bottom line there, Kyle, and obviously they got a little fed up with it, and that's the lines got shuffled. Now Brandon Bowie's back down to the bottom with Osman Yonishu, see if they can make anything happen, but they were not too happy with Bryce being, he was acting tight, as they put it, and maybe that's from running the bottom the entire time.
Yeah, it's definitely emotions are a consideration here, and you got to have friends at the end of these things. Maybe not to give you a direct help, but to cut you a break when you need one, and maybe that's one less break for the 09 from that team when it matters most. 63 laps in, and whoa, big scatter out of turn 4.
Yeah, Jacob Bell going for an aggressive move, looking to the inside of Michael Curran, and he gets shuffled out. Brad Slaughter also make a move on by, so 24. Speaking of friends, I'm surprised that Michael Curran didn't decide to partner, just jump in someone else's Discord channel just to have another person to work with, because he is all by himself in Discord. Everyone else at least has one other driver they're talking with and communicating with.
Well, going to be on the lookout here for a Weissart to make a pit stop this time? No, next time by, because he is getting close on the fuel. That's why he made the move to the bottom, and now you see Jeremy Miller on the outside leading the way with Jacob Bell, Brad Sauter, and Michael Kern.
And I'm just hearing on the radio, Weiser's coming in this time by.
All right, will this create a horde of cars to come 5 laps early, potentially, if they've matched the fuel situation of the 33? It's not the strategy you want to be on, but some are probably on it by necessity. Here comes David Weishart through 3 and 4. Onto the apron, Bowie's going to come with them, and just barely. And now look out the brakes for the 23. Does he get it slowed down? I think he did.
Yeah, he did. No penalties from either of those two. I'm surprised Bowie had it come in. He was running in behind for quite a while. And this is a bit early, I would think, to come into pit stop for a pit stop, unless he feels like he might be good to the end. So, a bit surprised to see the 23 come on down.
Remember, Finian, he led all those laps on the bottom. So, Brandon's fuel mileage not as good either. So 4 tires in fuel down here on pit lane. David Weishart is down and away cleanly. I'm looking at Brandon Bowie finishing up his service as well for car 23. 4 tires of fuel, both down and away. And now they are 1 lap down, gentlemen, as the rest of the field will come to me here in about 3 to 5 laps.
Chris Rabel up in the wall at the exit of turn 4. Here's what that looked like. Just got up into it, and instead of pulling the car off the wall, kind of rode along it for a bit, waited until the field thinned out, and then jumped back in line, but he will fall to the tail of the field. Jacob Bell leads the way.
Yeah, he was going to be careful doing that with the field coming by, because it takes quite a bit of force to get off the wall. But yeah, Jacob Bell in the lead and control at the moment. Brad Sauter sitting in behind, and it's Michael Curran. We just actually dipped back a little bit a while ago, actually getting passed by the 2 guys up ahead. Speaking of the pass, Ryan Arntt's decided he wants to taste the lead. He's going to try to dive to the inside, leading that lane.
He's in car with Michael Curran as he is navigating his way on the outside. And that move that Hart's made could be a move on the pit road, because you saw Weishart do that a couple laps ago. These guys are getting closer to where they have to come down pit road, but more importantly, this will be their only stop of the race. Like Eric said, they could go 65 laps. And
I'm hearing
speaking of
Douglas Newbigging coming down a pit lane this time, but I'm curious to see if anyone else will join him.
we know Eric Wanner will join us as Newbigging pulls off and comes down pit road.
So that's Lucky Duck Motorsports hitting by himself. I'm surprised none of his teammates decided to tag along with him. This is the halfway point of the race. Actually, he's 1 lap before halfway. They are working lap 70 right here as you guys continue to watch Jacob Bell pace the field. Douglas Newbigging brings his car down to me here. He's actually pitting just past actually right in front of me very nicely. 4 tires and fuel, it looks like, for 71.
And Michael Curran, Jeremy Miller coming down. Oh, Curran missed pit lane.
Oh, whoa. He just...
At least one missed pit lane and one was too fast. It was Jeremy Miller in the 30. Michael Curran, Douglas Newbigging down and away from me. Jeremy Miller speeding on pit lane. For car 30, unfortunately.
There was contact from behind as the 24 tried to slow, didn't get off the racetrack, and got hit from behind by Ryan Hartz. See the damage on the rear of the 24.
I'm a bit surprised with that, because Curran did announce on the radio that he was coming down to pit lane. I heard him, so I'm surprised.
Everybody, there's a crash. The 67 sideways, Ryan Swan.
Ryan Swan, Nick Silver off.
We stay green.
That's the struggles of coming down pit road. From
2 more rounds of black flag. So Jonathan Cogswell picked up another one with Jeremy Miller. They were too fast entering, but right there, Jacob Bell, your leader at the time, and Brad Slaughter Jr., unfortunately my pick to win, both too fast entering pit road right there, as you see. And then obviously unsafe entries for
more
Ryan
trouble.
Swan.
The 51 sideways out of turn 4. He got hit from behind as well.
Wow. How was that not a bigger incident?
They were sideways on the racetrack. I don't know how that wasn't a yellow. I saw that standing there at the start, looking out toward the start-finish line from pit road right here. Jeremy Miller's still sitting. Now he just pulled away in front of me. 4 tires and fuel for everybody down here, guys.
Wow. Yeah, this is, again, you can tell people you're coming to pit lane all you want, but if you jam on the brakes in the middle of 3 and 4 above the red line, you're going to get run into. But,
oh man, Ricky Springer is angry. He's yelling on the radio saying that he's coming this time by so no one hits him.
Yeah, well, I mean...
He's not a happy camper.
The racetrack is the racetrack. The apron is the apron. And I'm not really feeling bad for him for getting hit on the racetrack. I mean, you have to be aware if you're behind, absolutely. But, You're getting greedy on pit entry, using the racetrack as a braking zone, and not surprising some got rear-ended there.
Hey, so I'm still sitting down here watching Four Tires and Fuel for everybody on pit lane. Ryan Swan definitely picked up a incident or a black flag for pit exit as well. Connor Horn got a meatball, guys.
Yeah.
I'm not sure where that came in.
Oh, wow.
I think he packed into, I think it was either Sturgill, or Bowie, whoever hit Springer.
Ah, that's where the damage came in. We'll get a SimWrap market replay right here and take a look.
Oh, right here.
Oh.
Oh, man.
See, okay, Ricky Springer was the one I saw. I thought he was sideways on the racetrack, and it didn't trigger the yellow. But no, Kyle, Finian, Hunter, did NASCAR not implement a pit road entry in turn 3 for Atlanta now?
They did, and it's for this exact reason, guys. Again, if you stop on the racetrack, you're going to get hit. It's not a new concept, but like for the 51 just stopped driving. I mean, I can't put any blame on the cars behind him. Just because you say you're coming to pit lane doesn't mean that everyone has to stop racing around you. So at some point you have to take some responsibility as the slowing car to properly get off the road. But you see, that's why NASCAR has changed that rule.
Be curious to see if iRacing would be able to implement something like that, and I know it would be a challenge. It's a dual pit road speed, if you will, because I think they come through a little bit faster through 3 and 4, right?
No, when they commit to pitting going into turn 3, you have to stay at pit speed all the way through.
It is pit road speed the whole way around. Okay, so it's not like IndyCar Road America this past weekend where they were
racing
90
up to the line
until they reached the 45. Okay.
Nope. Yeah.
Well, Four Tires and Fuel is completed for everybody down here, guys. Only a few black flags there that we saw. Down and away goes the final man, Ryan Swan. You saw him get lapped there on the apron. The only one remaining on pit road is just damage repair for Connor Horn and I believe one other. So
sorry, Beckner and Seinfeld both pit. They both pitted too.
Yeah.
Oh wow, that's huge for them.
A good pickup for them. And Weishart and Bowie, they're clear of the field by 4.6 seconds, but pitted 7 laps prior. Everyone else pitted just 5 or 6 laps ago, but they're still grouped together as they go by the lap car on the outside. That is the 67 of Ryan Swan. So halfway through this race and just past it, and Weishart and Bowie, they lead, but at a disadvantage in the strategy here.
Yeah, I was going to say they're not only at a disadvantage of being not in the group, but also they came in early, so they're going to need to save extra gas. Again, for Weiser, he's not too concerned. Bowie, I imagine, is probably a little bit more concerned. And also the fact that he's going to have to be pushing because to keep this lead up, or he's got to choose to just let the field catch him and try to save some gas. Either way, he's kind of... It's a bad situation for him to be out in front by a couple of seconds. Normally it's a good thing, but fuel-wise, in the grand scheme of things, might not be too good for the 23.
Well, only time will tell, as they do have Ricky Springer in between them and third place Travis Beckner. And then you got to go back to where Michael Curran is. Him and Rafe Slater door to door for a top 10 spot. But other than that, it's double wide behind them and single file in front of them.
So 60 laps to go next time by, which means we've got about 30 minutes of racing remaining. And it's been pretty calm, cool, and collected. We've avoided yellow flags so far. When is that first yellow going to come? We know it's going to, Finian, but the 7 is big time sideways.
Yeah, are they working on a lap car, or they just get 3 wide?
Oh, they had an issue. Chris Seinfeld lost it because now he's getting freight trained by the 2 lanes behind him. Or on the inside of him, excuse me.
Well, I was going to say that the odds of a caution coming out are lower because the fuel got separated out, but we just saw one right there. So really depends on how much these guys are willing to push, especially on this last run now, because now you're going to go to the end, at least for this pack. You're good to go to the end on gas, so they're going to be pushing a lot more harder than I think they were on that first run. Granted, there are less cars to work with, so I don't know, it'll be interesting to see. And we also just, in general, have had most of the field jumbled up. Travis Beckner from 22nd to 3rd. He's benefited probably the most out of anyone under the pit stops.
I think what's interesting to me is that you would think that the cautions would be less likely when they're not in a group, but the runs are so much bigger and you can do something with them now. So I don't think there's the same level of patience. Rafe Slade has been absolutely kicking the door in on the 7's rear bumper. He has him walking all over the racetrack out of turn 4.
See Ricky Springer diving below the apron to get someone out of the way as much as he can. As they continue off side by side, Scully and Slate, almost goes a little bit up. The 8 comes almost a little bit too far down. You can see them all trying to get the side draft off of one another. It almost leads to a wreck.
Beckner and Yonoshiwu have their focus set on catching Bowie and Weishart. Gap going down from 4.7, 4.3 this time by, maybe 4.2 when they officially crossed the stripe. But yeah, right behind them, Slate and Scioli, the 7 and 8 car swapping the 7 and 8 positions on the track.
Yeah, good fun to watch these two. They're sparring and getting the elbows out and jabbing each other in the ribs at the moment. As JT Poole, we haven't talked a ton about him since the early moments of this race. Runs 6th place, fell as low as 22nd in that pit stop exchange.
They're riding on board with JT Poole sitting in lane. He's also been running really solid race, started in second, still keeping in just outside the top 5. 4th in line in this pack. It's kind of riding out. So not really the big question, guys. Technically, you should start pushing now, but when do you really finally make that push if you're, maybe 10th, 15th in this pack?
There's not really a whole lot you can do if you want to make a push. You would have to try and force a 3 wide in the middle somewhere and get cars shuffled out line that way, but how we saw that with Chris Steinefeiner earlier, there was a bit of a gaggle, and Chris is still struggling to get back inside the top 10, but you can try gathering everyone up on the outside. We saw that in the first half of the race where the bottom had more cars, but the outside line, it just got better exit speed, and that's why you saw it prevail more in the longer run. And now Beckner's actually fading on the outside, so Cosme Yonoshiwu moves up to 3rd, and they're actually losing ground from this top 2. The gap went down to 4.1 seconds. It's going up now to 4.5.
Well, you can see it's discombobulated just a touch. They were closing in, but now they've lost some time in retaliation. As far as when to go, if you're not in the top 10, you get to the top 10. I don't think you need to be any further than that right now with how much time we've got left. But by lap 130, I want to be in position where I want to be.
I mentioned too also this is a great race. The super speedway races tend to be the grand equalizers for guys that won't really be able to get many wins on the more conventional speedways and even the road courses. This is a great chance for yourself to get yourself locked in for the playoffs, as we saw with Ricky Springer. This is where that run started last season for him. Could be the start for another one here. Definitely not the start for Connor Horn, although he's lucky he's already locked in. Sitting in 30th at the moment with a huge amount of damage to the nose of that car and the pack looming.
He's running the modified division as the field catches him, and, well, now Cosme kind of just picked him up, and now that's going to stack the bottom even more, so not really sure what's going on there, but everyone 3rd on back is getting stacked up because Connor Horn is not making it easy for Yonoshiwu to get by. Yeah, or anyone, really.
Oh, they're stacking up in the background now. They somehow are still going straight, but even with the field all jacked up, now they've got overlap to the outside, and Cosme Yonoshiwu is going to take them, and so will Ryan Hartz on by. Connor's car not going to be performing at a very high level with all that damage he's got.
No, it's not. I think he's just trying to stay out of the way as much as possible so that we can use the apron to give guys extra room, but that almost caused a huge stack up there entering turn 1, but they avoid it for now, and everyone's still slowly working their way on by. I gotta say, though, and actually with that stack up, it brought Weishart and Bowie an extra 6 seconds of time to work with.
Yeah, that did not help Yonoshiwu, Curran, Hartz, did not help any of them at all. They're still trying to get sorted out right in the middle of this pack as they went by Eric Weiland. Weiland, what you got for us?
David Weishart and Brandon Bowie opened up another 2 seconds. They did pick up a lapper, as you see with them there. But listen in to Brandon Bowie on his fuel situation.
I'm short on fuel. I'm about 2.5 short. But I think me and David, for the most part, I think we just gotta keep going, and I don't know, hope and pray for a caution to come down at the right time. We all pit, and we'll see what happens from there. But we need one first.
Are you gonna try to save any behind him?
It's hard. I mean, I could try and save some, but then if I do save, then I'm allowing the pack to catch up. And if I do that, then I can get caught up in something. So I think I would rather just push him, and then we just keep going, and we'll just see what happens.
Well, 10-4. Thanks for the info.
You're about to get your caution right here.
So you're about to get your caution right here is when Connor Horn just happened to be in front of the pack that we are watching here on our Sim TV feed. But yeah, Kyle, Brandon Bowie not doing too well on the fuel situation.
Yeah, and that was the thing I was going to mention is that lead is kind of all for naught unless they can get a yellow flag to level the playing field. I think we've seen enough tire wear tonight that you would come to pit lane at this stage and grab some kind of tires, whether it's right sides or left sides or just, or maybe you just do all four, but I don't know. I mean, the closer you get to the end of the race, the more I just want to stay out and have track position at the end. It's not necessarily going to be a handling fight, is it? You just don't want to understeer out of the way.
And speaking of a handling fight, Chris Seidenfeld and Art showing that great handling. They just, Chris Seidenfeld and lap car Ricky Springer, they just maneuvered around the leaders and took the lead, or at least Seidenfeld did, of this pack. Springer helping him out with his car a lap down.
Yeah, Skyler and Sturgill are trying to do the same thing now. But I was gonna bring that up. While Whiteside and Bowie are sitting comfortable at 7-second lead, they were the first two cars that pitted before, and if Bowie has Bowie has fuel issues now, I can only imagine what fuel issues Whiteside's having. But
and actually, sorry to cut you off, Hunter. I was actually just looking at the lap that Seidenfeld decided to go to the lead. Everyone in this pack, I think, is running a little bit slow because Seidenfeld kicked the lights on. Ricky was kind of in behind him, and he went from 14th to 6th in one lap.
Wow. And on a mission, too. Started this race in 23rd. We didn't really see a lot of him up towards the front, but here he is riding in third with 45, make it 44 laps to go this time by.
And though notably too, the lap times have decreased. They were kind of going a little bit high there, I think, because the guys leading this pack were a little bit concerned of saving. I think that's why we saw the lead with Weishart and Bowie expand out, is because this pack was trying to save in general. And Seidenfeld said, nah, I'm going to go to the front and push. So now he's jumped to the front, and now they're starting to make more inroads on the leaders. Weishart and Bowie now starting to go a little bit slower.
Yeah, Seidenfeld is closing the gap quite a bit. We're running in car with Bowie, and Seidenfeld, best finish of the season was a 10th from Michigan. Other than that, he's only had one finish inside the top 20. The rest have been outside of that mark, and 36 in points. But a win could spark huge momentum for him going forward. He's still too far back in the points to be considered a playoff driver. Got to get the top 20. But yeah, they are making up ground quite a bit on Weishart and Bowie.
I think it's because the front two are saving. I don't know if it's going to do much for them, guys, but they're way off the pace from where they should be. They were running faster, and now they've just slowed up about 8-9 tenths of a second, Finian. So I think they're saving fuel. I just don't know to what extent that's actually going to help them versus hurt them. I would have just run all the way out and committed to it and just hoped that the group behind would end up in a yellow flag scenario. Here, they're going to end up losing track position and still probably not make it.
Yeah, I was going to say it really is a big coin toss for Bowie and the decision he has to make. Either, like you said, go for it or just risk it. So as Weishart bails out down a pit lane, kind of surprised. Thought he would have tried to just stick it out there because he definitely could have gone a lot further. So Weishart deciding to come in early. At least Bowie basically with Ben Pierce, and now he's got no shot at saving.
Bowie's not going to stay afloat without his friend out there with the 33.
Yeah, three, especially with only two of them. Three of them, they were holding ground a little bit. With only two of them now, the pack's just going to eat them up in a couple laps' time.
Oh, Weishart just wanted to lead laps, and I guess not. But that goes back to what happened in this race a season ago. You can lead the most laps, which Weishart's definitely put himself up there with, but doesn't always mean you're guaranteed to win. As he comes down, he's going to be a lap down. But everyone else is closing the gap on Brandon Bowie. 2 seconds between him and Seidenfeld.
Oh, Bowie sinking back into the pack here as they approach from behind. 40 laps to go from Atlanta Motor Speedway. Guys, it has been lots of clean and green racing, and that means we haven't had any time to talk about SimWrap Market. Race fans, be sure to visit simwrapmarket.com for custom iRacing paint scheme templates that are simple to use and help you stay more focused on the racetrack. And race fans, be sure to check out rickshotsauce.com for some of the best hot sauces made locally in South Florida. Try the Loxahatchee Classic, Golden Garlic, Palm Beach Pineapple, or South Beach Heat. Follow the Rick's Hot Sauce Rookie of the Year battle in the Area Cup Series and see which driver will take home the $100 prize as the highest finishing rookie in the point standings. Why not? One more. Race fans, be sure to check out shop.areairacing.com for merchandise to represent your favorite drivers and teams. Shop from our brand new selections of champion t-shirts, jackets, hats, and more. Easier to shop, quicker to ship, better to wear. That's shop.areairacing.com. All right, 37 laps to go next time by, and all we have to do now is finish these last 20 minutes out. Under green, Bowie, Seidenfeiten, Sturgill, Scioli, and Hartz. And those latter two we hadn't really talked about much today. Hartz running 5th, and Scioli from all the way at the back of the field up to 4th.
And here they go, they've caught up now. Seidenfeiten, I'm actually surprised, thought it would have taken the momentum and carried it around to get past Bowie, but looks like he's fine with just sitting in behind. Oh, nope, tries to go, oh! Turns Ben Pierce hard into the wall, and here we're going to see a caution come out. No! He kept it straight.
That happened below the apron. Ben Pierce involved, but they're still green. That's crazy.
That is wild. Let's have another look at it. As it happened on the back straightaway, Simrat Market replay, and from high above, the 45 popped out, bam, into the outside wall with the 65, and across the road, just missed Kazman Yonishiwu and many more.
Conor Kresic, almost nearly got. He's the car that dived right there. That was a Kresic just diving out of the way. Great evasive driving, and also fantastic job getting himself back on the track safely.
But that's going to be a mess for everyone trying to get back in this pack that was. Here's how Krezic's look.
Wow.
And also got to be careful merging back into the field.
How about Kazman Yonishiwu? That'll wake you up. Brandon Bowie, guys, dropped to 6th and continues to fall.
I was just watching these guys. They just got passed by Sturgill and company because Bowie's still hanging out. They're just trying to save some gas. It started with the lap cars of notably Brad Slaughter and Jeremy Miller deciding they didn't want to go slow. They want to get themselves back on the lead lap just in case a caution comes out. So that way they don't have to rely on the lucky dog. They're trying to break away from the field.
Chris Seidenfeiten still in the mix even after that little run-in with Ben Pierce. He's the 3rd car on the outside line, still fighting for a top 5 spot with Yonishiwu, but you can see just how much separation there is between the top 10 and the rest of the pack. It's about 7-8 car lengths separating Chris Rabel and Travis Beckner as they're still trying to work their way through the lap car of Connor Horn.
It's been a fascinating race. Your leaders now, Ryan Hartz and Michael Sturgill. Any predictability that we had went away with that big scrum on the back straightaway. It kind of mixed everybody up again. And now we've got drivers leading that haven't been up front, or at least haven't led the race all night long. In behind, a couple drivers still fighting to stay on the lead lap.
Yeah, I think what this has added is a lot of desperation to the guys in the packs further on behind because they're going to be wanting to get single file out and start driving hard with each other to get themselves up the order because now the laps are starting to wind down. We got just about 30 laps to go next time by. So a lot more pressure has been put on these guys to get ordered and catch back up to the leaders if they want a shot.
And inside this top 8, the only driver with the win this season is James Scioli, and he's got 2 to his name in the Cup Series. Ryan Hartz is leading, but he is the highest in points without a win. Then you got Slate, Yonishiwu, Bowie, Rabel, Seidenfeiten, and Sturgill as well. Didn't want to leave him out.
Crazy
but he's
stat.
Very crazy indeed. And then throughout the whole top 10, it's 2 because Beckner has a win, but Kresic does not.
So you might get a first-time winner, or at least a first new winner of the season in the next 30 laps. That's 15 minutes worth of racing should we go green all the way to the end. And the chess match is beginning. All the gears are turning on the strategy calls here, Finian. Now you're going to place yourself, and the next 25 of those laps are going to be dedicated to figuring out where and when you want to make your move.
So you're talking about placing yourself, and these guys just went single file all the way around for the first time this race, which is kind of ironic. But no, I think they're just all trying to figure out when they want to go, and everyone's waiting for the right moment to strike. Well, we got Eric Wineland back with us. Eric, what you got?
I got some info for you on that one. First of all, here is so Ricky Springer is still not over what happened on the green flag sequence. Just listen in.
What can you not play on the broadcast?
Because he doesn't like you, right?
So I refrained from playing anything else Ricky Springer said, just so everyone is aware of that. The 51 not happy. Meanwhile, here is more Solid Rock Solid Rock Performance Radio. Excuse me. This team is in shambles right now. We're used to them controlling races. Well, they're far from it.
Go.
I just got it. We're Travis and Connor are right here. I've got to push new bikini to them. Okay, we're here. All right.
Ryan, when you want to go top, let me know.
Not yet. They're still saving, so we're good.
We gotta go. Yeah, Ryan, we cannot let them do that. That's ridiculous. They're stopping. They're parking it.
Well, yeah, because it's buoy.
So Rafe was adamant that he and Ryan needed to go. Well, guess what, Kyle? They've gone, and now they are the front two.
They are the front two as the laps wind down from Atlanta Motor Speedway. You're on Sim TV. It's round 9 of the Area Cup Series. Playoffs just a few races from now. A win locks you in. And as Hunter mentioned earlier, 7 of the top 8 do not have a win yet this season. Behind him is getting double file again, looking like the beginning of the race, Finian, as the move sorting starts now.
I was going to say, it's kind of surprising that we haven't had a winner. There's no winner inside those positions because we've had 7 different winners this season so far. Might get the 8th one here as you look at GT Poole leading the outside lane further down the order. This is battle for 9th position. He's trying to get something going in that outside lane after they've been single file for the last 5-10 laps.
And you know what? We haven't talked about Jake Nichols at all tonight other than him trying to get the slowest qualifying time in area history. He's been outside the top 10 for, I believe, this entire, he's been in 7th, but that was through green flag pit stops. He's on the cusp of that top 10 right now, but very quiet race from Jake Nichols. Not surprising that we haven't heard from him because it's a super speedway, but he's making the charge now.
It's not about to be quiet. He has played this very well. Connor Okrusik tried to slot it between himself and Jacob Bell following, but Jake Nichols is making the moves at the right time, Finian. Kept the nose clean, and now he's top 10 and climbing.
Yeah, doing a really solid job for himself. This lane is starting to move, pull up to 6th in line, a little bit of separation further on back. He's side by side with Brandon Bowie to his inside. And Bowie still kind of hanging out there. Still unknown what the 23 fuel situation is. I imagine it's been improving, but still a question mark over his head as Ryan Hartz continues to win this race. I'm curious to see if anyone else from the front, if they're going to ditch that inside lane and jump to the front in front of the 26.
Not yet. I'd say if the 26 gets massive runs to where it catches the attention of
they already have started getting out James Scully and Michael Sturgill jumping in front of the 26 already.
Well, that didn't take long.
Sure didn't. Field fanning out at a turn 4. It is getting creative now. The lines are changing. The single file nature is over. It is game on. Everyone was in spectator mode. Now they've joined the game.
Well, I'm still in spectator mode.
Me too.
Whoa, even the lap cars. Slaughter and Jeremy Miller. Now the leader's going to work their way towards the bottom. Did not expect them to snake up to the top.
Well, Hartz and Slate can't wait around behind the lap cars here. They've got to make their moves. I don't think they want that variable in this equation, Finian, as they work their way through 1 and 2 on the banking.
Yeah, I was going to say, they're out there for themselves. They're just trying to make sure the leaders don't pass them, period, because if a caution happens out, a wreck happens out, which considering everyone's getting look at this pack getting joined back together again and fighting behind one another, there's a good chance of a caution coming out. They don't want to be A, in the back, in the middle of it, and B, they want to get their laps back if it does come out. So they're just trying to stay in front as much as possible.
This is helping the outside line, though, more than hindering because they're getting a strong enough run. Kind of like what we saw in the first half of this race, and there is a slow car on the apron there, but yeah, it's starting to look like the first half where the inside's got more cars, but the outside line is getting the big enough run on the straightaways.
20 laps to go from Atlanta in the Area Cup Series. Round 9 of the season. Michael Sturgill has the lead. He's on the outside right now, following the pair of cars that are just clinging to lead lap positions right now. And as the timer ticks down and the laps tick away, pressure rises. It's like shaking a bottle of pop. And when are you going to unscrew that lid and see how far it sprays?
Oh man, that inside lane is using a huge amount of momentum. They're just not going anywhere. Here comes Ricky Springer to the inside again. A reminder, he is also a lap down, making his way forward. Actually, he's going to slot in front of the 3 and might actually be helping out the 3 and the 8.
Oh, they are checking up big time on that inside line. They are teammates though, the 51, the 3, and the 8 Solid Rock Performance cars. But they checked up big time there on the front stretch.
Didn't really work out for them, whatever they were trying to do, at least not momentarily. It might help them later on, perhaps, but for the time being, that just checked them up and lost them a lot of spots. Wasn't as well-oiled as I think they intended that to be.
Oh, no. Look out. Look who's in 4th. It's Jake Nichols.
Where did he come from?
Beware, rest of the field. Beware, like I said, it's had acquirings up until this point. Now he's just on the top 5 without anyone.
Turn 1.
Oh, race later round, and this will definitely be the caution.
Oh, massive hit.
Big hits, and there's the yellow flag. First caution lap 124 with 17 laps to go. Rafe Slate. Turned around backwards. Here's a look on the Simrap Market replay. Ooh, Ryan Swan. Wow. Bounced off the wall there, and I think, did Rafe just kind of keep the momentum going up there?
I think he thought that Swan was going to be up against the wall. I didn't think he expected 6-7 to go into it.
You know what? He checked up from the 3 of hearts. He checked up, and that's why he hit the wall, because he didn't want to make contact with him. He was trying to go to the outside, but didn't have much room. Bounced off the wall into the 8. And that brings out our first yellow.
Oh, man, so close to the Ned Robertson. Nowhere to go there. That was a quick crash. Happened at a high velocity here to the inside, back across the road, and got lucky to only hit really with the right side of the car and kind of got away with it, in all honesty, guys. And pit lane is away from my angle. What's going on here? Oh boy.
We gotta clean their lens.
I don't know why that's like that. Oops.
Yeah, oops. Fields on pit road, and it's she was down there. Bowie is on there. Fuel no longer a concern, but JT Poole leads. Jake Nichols second. Martin third. They've all stayed out. The top 7 have stayed out on the racetrack. Everybody else came to pit lane. That's a big strategy call with 14 to go, guys. I like track position, but how much are those tires going to matter?
I don't know, because we haven't had a chance to see how much they matter, really. I mean, they definitely matter towards the end of a run. We're starting to see that it's a little bit harder for them to stick on the bottom. I really think that getting the tires here, it's like with the IndyCar, where you get a lot more maneuverability having those tires. You can make more moves in more places. Is not necessarily going to help your lap time out. That being said, the highest guy with tires is in 10th place. You get the restart with just about, a little over 10 to go? I don't know, you're putting a lot of faith also to in that you're praying that there's not going to be another wreck.
I like it. I like the call. Because, like Kyle said, towards the end of that first stint, the lap times were getting up to second off pace. Although it's going to be a short run, those guys on fresh tires, they don't have to preserve them at all. They don't have to save any fuel. They topped off, so they can go all out, but track position is key. That will make it interesting for those with newer tires. And Eric, you have a front row seat to all the pit stops going on in front of you.
Yeah, everybody went to 4 tires and fuel except that top 8, as you guys are documenting. JT Poole, Jake Nichols, Jordan Martin, Ryan Hartz, Connor O'Kresick, Travis Beckner, Chris Seidenfon, and Brad Slaughter are all going to test the waters here, right here. But radio from Solid Rock Performance for you guys. Just listen in.
Dylan, try and get me up and I'll create a hole.
I got a hole. I got a hole, Rafe. Get in it. Swan is the worst driver in the league.
Well, I went up to take it from him. I was way clear, and he just drove himself in the wall.
Like he's a lap down. He's a cancer.
Speak with one of the admins about the lucky dog rule.
So I happened to be riding on board with Solid Rock right there when that all kicked off, and I've Connor must have spit about 6 to 8 4-letter explicitive words that I'm not going to play on the broadcast for you guys about Ryan Swan. Obviously, he was not happy with the move. Ricky Springer was hoping he was going to get the lucky dog. Unfortunately, he is not in that position, so he remains 1 lap down as we get set for the restart here, guys.
Thanks, Eric. Good insight as JT Poole chooses the outside lane for the restart. He's going to be lined up with Ryan Hartz on the bottom. It's Jake Nichols and the 11 of Jordan Martin. It'll be a 13-lap shootout here, guys. You know what Larry Mack always says? Larry Mack always says, cautions breed cautions. We've only had one. It came on lap 124. 13 laps remain in round 9 for the Area Cup Series. JT and Jake on the front row. Here we go. Green flag back in the air from Atlanta.
Good start for the guys in the outside lane. Already three abreast piled up, and then here they go now on the bottom. Jake Nichols is in charge of that bottom lane. He'll probably get into the lead here.
Got a big push from Jordan Martin in the 11. Chris Seidenfein as well right behind. Ted even going into 3, but the 73 has a massive run. He can come up if he wants to. New leader, Jake Nichols, with 12 to go.
Here they come out of turn 4, and it's going to be a frantic fight now. The gloves are coming off. Here comes the 7 of Scioli to the bottom of the racetrack, Finian.
Yeah, remember, he got those fresh tires, too, so he can stick glue to that inside line. Again, we'll really see how they measure up against the guys around. So far, so good. They're making some decent moves with that fresh rubber.
Here comes a big push, the 7 to the 11.
Ooh, Krezek all the way out, the 5 to the bottom. Garrett Grant and Seidenfein come together into turn 3. The 14, the 71, they make contact.
Got a big stack up on that outside lane. You can see Sturgill, big loser out of that. Going to get backed up 3 wide in the middle of the field. I'm going to see, curious to see how long this is going to last. I haven't really seen a whole lot of 3 wide action this big so far.
Scioli with a massive run on the outside. We're on board with Phil Krezek, but Scioli was slicing and dicing his way to the outside. Now he's in the lead with the fresh tires. Got Chris Rabel behind him too. But 73, Jake Nichols, not going away just yet.
Yeah, maybe the tires were worth something because they've shuffled forward. Scioli is on them, so is Chris Rabel, and so... Oh, there's trouble behind him.
That's a wreck in the back. Brad Slaughter, hard hit. They're still wrecking.
Big crash on the front straightaway. And 8 gets clobbered again. Wow. Brad Slaughter Jr.'s car is junk.
Well, like Larry Mack says, cautions breed cautions.
That one actually took a little longer than I thought it was gonna.
Yeah, that was.
There are no vibes left in the 83 after that.
So where did this one start? Is the question.
83 Brad Slaughter.
Oh, it started there. It definitely finished with the 83 of Brad Slaughter.
Yeah, it started. He was on the receiving end of this. It's gonna be 3 wide here with the 45, 17, and the 83.
I think they were 4 wide.
Oh, yeah. Miller and the 8 of Slate get together. And so Brad, it was the first part of that, and then the rest of it just kind of happened from, wow. That big hit there at the end.
Lost us twice in the same wreck.
Yeah. Oh, my goodness. There's the contact, and then, unfortunately, Seidenfein just kind of gets taken for a ride, and then the 8 comes back across the nose of Sturgill and up into the outside wall, and Sturgill went across the racetrack. Delonte Ballard kind of blasted through it. But let's ride on board with Rafe Slate. This is going to be a heck of a ride.
Hey, Kyle.
Yeah.
Did you see who snuck through there in that teal blue car?
I didn't, but I do want to watch this impact and get one last look at it here as the 8 goes and slides down the racetrack. And where comes the 83? Right there. Oh, that was a big hit. All right, Eric, who was it that slid on through?
Well, I didn't want to relive my pick to win watching his race go up in shambles right there. The hometown kid, Brad Slaughter Jr., unfortunately not going to win this one. But Tyler Nichols is hype about his wreck avoidance. Listen in.
That was amazing avoidance. I didn't touch anybody. They were all dying in front of me.
We'll get a chance to ride on board with our SimRap market replay right here. Just watch what Tyler does, Kyle.
Whoa! Wow!
Oh man! Wow!
The seas parted there, huh? Oh man, that was awesome.
He has said that he has never had a better wreck avoidance in his life, and he was hype about it. I didn't quite record the initial reaction, but I did get him saying that he didn't touch a single car, and he was right.
Well, you don't really want to practice those skills usually, but
here in area, you absolutely do.
Well, I think you want the result of it. I don't know that you're always wanting to be behind everyone that's crashing left and right. But lights are extinguished on the pace car, and that means next time by we go green with 6 laps to go, and they're quick yellows, guys. So if we get another quick one, we could have another yellow before our green-white checkered. But if we go a couple laps, a yellow would signify our green-white checkered, and then from there, it's checkers or wreckers.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and also, how about this? We went from having guys the top 7 with no wins, and now we have the front 2. We have James Kelly, who has the most wins this season with 2, and then Jake Nichols looking to get his second victory of the season, sitting right there in second place on the inside.
Well, none of us picked JT Poole to win this race, guys. He's winless and starting 4th.
I'll put him as my pick now because Brad Slaughter Jr. is out.
You cannot do that. It is way too late in the race. I am not doing
absolutely a pull a Kyle higher.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
Pulling a Kyle. Thanks, guys. Feeling the love today. All right, coming to the restart. Well, no kid hungry on the side of the 7. But JT, he's a kid, and though he had some pizza earlier, I think he's still hungry. And with wins 0 in the column, I think a little extra for him tonight. Here we go. 6 laps to go. James Scioli and Jake Nichols are your race leaders for the Area Cup Series at Atlanta. Here we go. Green flag.
A poor start for the 26. A great start for the 26 and a 73 on the inside. Almost better than the 7 of Scioli, and they might actually beat him here to turn 1. Indeed they do.
Well, the 73 can go to the outside and block if he wants to, but Chris Rabel cannot. Here comes Scioli, though. Massive run on the outside, making up for it now. 7 car going for the lead.
Swinging left, swinging right. Make those cars wide because you're going to have 5 more laps, 20 more corners to block and keep whatever spots you've got. Here they go, fanning out 3 wide across the stripe. 5 laps left at Atlanta.
Almost all right. It's getting to the wall here. It looks like he's trying to look around. JT Poole's trying to look around James Scioli. Scioli's going to put him almost into the wall, trying to defend that outside lane. Oh, he gets turned a little bit. Still fighting off the 26. Scioli almost just got turned on the back straightaway again.
Look at the 3 to the high side, guys. Look at him come from out of nowhere.
I wonder how much longer they can do this for, but Jake Nichols hoping that they can do it for the next 4 laps, keep everyone at bay, including Chris Rabel.
No way they can do this for 4 more laps. Absolutely no way. 3 wide, who cares how deep? There, it's crazy. There's everybody everywhere. JT Poole's at the wall out of turn 2. Trouble behind him.
Back in the background, caution out.
14 of Okrezik is one of them. David Weishart's in it. Bryce Senesac is in it. Tyler Nichols is in it.
Further back than I thought that wreck was going to occur.
So, Zimrat Market Replay will tell all.
There's actually 2 separate wrecks.
It'll tell it all in 2 separate replays then, huh? There's 14
in the
right
background,
there.
There's Senesac going in the background, and there's Okrezik in the further wreck.
All right, let's slow this down. We're going to need to. So, the 14 and the 30, I think, are kind of jammed up here behind the 28 as those outside 3 were in the wall. The 14 turns left across the nose of Yoneshiwu. Then the 5 and 84 get together, and that triggers that one. And then behind them, the other wreck that you see is the 09 of Senesac getting turned off the nose of Brandon Bowie.
Yeah, that third lane, everyone kind of got close to the wall and scraped it. They were just trying to come off it, and well, that's what happens when everyone's trying to come off the wall at once, and you're in this tight 3-wide pack with little to no room for error.
Well, this is what the turn 2 exit camera saw.
Yeah, you can see the bunch of smoke from her rolling off the wall.
And Delonte Ballard, I think, got probably one of the better views of this one. Better might be not the word to use.
It's a relative term there.
But better is in the sense of the view I got following a group of my friends in rental cars back to the hotel in Raleigh last night when they hit a rabbit, and I got a front row seat for that. So.
Yikes.
Yep. Rabbits explode when you drive over them with an SUV, in case you're wondering.
Good to know.
If you want to know how frustrated Ryan Hartz is, listen in.
Dude, that.
Travis struck the wall.
So that was right as the wreck was happening. Ryan Hartz was very upset because he and JT Poole pushed. They got a little bit of the wall. Travis Beckner drugged the wall, as you guys pointed out, in front of Connor Okresic, and Connor tried to avoid and ended up getting part of the melee. And they were upset on the radio with Connor. Garrett Grant was upset with Connor Okresic. I think a case of targeting the wrong person until you see the replay, but there was a lot of heated moments there on the radio. And Connor Okresic, he's got a blown motor, but I think he's going to try to stay out here, guys.
Now looking good.
It's a meatball, by the way.
You don't have to serve those for 3 laps.
I was gonna say, you can see the hood flapping on the hood of his car as well, so that's not a good sign. As well as the smoke pluming out of behind him.
It's got a hood on it.
Barely.
Oh. Well, the way I look at it for this restart, Skyway's in 4th. Rabel and Martin, none of them have wins yet. Jordan Martin's last win came on a super speedway-like race. Chris Rabel has yet to win this season. I also want to count on JT Poole or Michael Curran, but it's going to be tough to beat that 73.
Oh, man. So, 140 laps, and it will all come down to this. We are in overtime, and this is our one and only attempt at this, guys. If the caution comes out, the race is over. If we go green to the white flag, doesn't matter what kind of pandemonium you got, you're coming back to the checkers under green. A lot of orange in that outside groove, a lot of purple on the bottom.
Purple versus orange, we'll see who prevails.
Well, it's going to be spooky here for the Halloween-colored cars up towards the front. 2 laps left, 3 miles worth of racing. It's going to be an entertaining 3 miles. A launch, and the 73 is clear as we're back underway.
Great launch for him. One of the best restarts we've seen all night long, and he only again has to hold out for 2 laps. So we'll see if that outside lane or anyone else in mind can come charging back to the front here.
Oh, don't throw the yellow out, though, because if this field gets crossed up, it's going to be over, and they'll give it to Nichols. Big slide to the bottom of the racetrack.
Oh, massive run here. Oh, look at the 3rd place car. JT Poole all the way to the outside. They're 3 deep behind. But Poole, Newbigging, Martin, they're all vying for their first win of the season. White flag in the air. Can Jake Nichols hold on?
We're coming back to the checker no matter what now. Jake Nichols leads over Jordan Martin. Nichols has won a race. Martin has not. He's all over the back of the 73 as the field packs up behind him. Here comes the 7 car from 71 of Newbigging from absolutely nowhere. They're crashing behind him.
Oh, can he hold on? We don't care about the wreck in the background. Drag racing 3 and 4. Can Newbigging try to slow down the 73 of Jake Nichols?
Here comes JT Poole as well. Checkered flag waving. The 73 is banging doors to the stripe side by side.
Oh.
Nichols grabs it at the stripe by 59 thousandths of a second.
Oh.
Holy cow, what a photo finish indeed. Jake Nichols, that push at the end got it done. Oh man, wow, what a finish.
What a finish. We will go back and watch all of it. 73. Champion of the series multiple times over. Has won so many races here. But this season, they have not come as easy as the pace has been for the 73. He has been fast, but he has not been in position at the end. This time was absolutely nowhere until the last 15, 20 laps of the race. Right place, right time when the checker came out.
Oh, absolutely. We saw him play cautious all race long until he had to get near the front, and it paid off at the end, like you said. Great job for the 73, Jake Nichols, just getting himself in the right place at the right time.
Yeah, he joined Skylerly with 2 wins on the Cup Series, and another confidence booster for their next race, which will be the first road course race of the season in Road America. That'll be interesting to tune in. But Jake Nichols absolutely closing in at the end. I thought it was going to be, who was it, Newbingen that got second on the outside? He got that push at the end, I think, from JT Poole.
Yeah, I actually want to take a look at the replay here if we can real quick, because, it would have been Newbingen if it wasn't for that bump at the end.
Here's a look at the final lap. Have a look.
Yeah, actually, just look at how far back Newbingen and JT Poole came back from, because the leaders were so out far in front.
And a huge run on the back straightaway, and Newbingen has the advantage here heading into turn 3, but just there's the 29 Arable going around behind him. And as they came out of 4, 73 washes up, bangs doors once, but the 11, oh no, it's the 26 that gives the 73 that shot.
He gave him an extra 3-mile-an-hour boost, and that was just enough, because you can see right, well, this actually be a great angle right here. You're going to see right up until the dog leg, Newbingen had just about a nose ahead of the 73 on the right there, gave him the bump, and just pushed the 73 over the line by 15 thousandths of a second.
That was
I was shoving
wild.
Doug up a little bit, and I got lucky that I got the push from JT.
That's Jake Nichols' comment on the finish, guys.
Holy cow. And the speed the 26 spun out with at the end, that was wild. Let's go back a little bit deeper in the replay here and pick out the accident on the back straightaway. There's the 7 getting turned off the nose of Jacob Bell, and then he gathers it up and then back across the racetrack, gets hooked by Cedric Hunter. 33 goes around with them, and they spin into turn 3. And then, of course, the 29 of Rabel we saw get turned around in turn 3 as well by Jacob Bell also. Ooh.
I was in that channel for that one, Kyle, and I heard Jacob yell, "Oh no, Chris, no, why?" And so I'm guessing Jacob was trying to push Chris, and Chris might have moved up a little too much on the entry to 3.
Well, guys, let's have a look at our race results. That was wild. Here's a look. Jake Nichols gets it done. Second win on the season. Then Douglas Newbegen, second place by 15 thousandths of a second. Then JT Poole, Jordan Martin, Travis Beckner, your top 5 finishing. Then Frankie Barroso from the back of the field to 6th. Jacob Bell, Hartz Bowie, and Cedric Hunter, the rest of the top 10. You're waiting on me, aren't you? There we go.
Yep, thank you. I was going to say, thank you for reminding me of that. Moving on next to 11th, find Ed Robertson just outside the top 10. Garrett Grant, Kazimir Shuma, Bryce Senizak, Michael Curran, who I was having a pretty good day up until the middle part of the race, got shuffled back now to 15. Seidenfein, same thing too. He was also running up there for a good amount of the day back in 16th. Rabel, Ricky Springer's definitely going to be disappointed with what happened tonight. Dwayne Culberson and Kyler Nichols running at your top 20.
Then outside, Jeremy Miller had a good run going in the beginning part. Did not work out in the end. Sturgill's 22nd. Skyly and Okrezik did not finish after being caught up in that wreck. Silver, Delonte Ballard, Horn, Weishart, Swan, and Slate the top 3rd.
And the last of the runners here, Brad Slaughter Jr., Ben Pierce, Jonathan Cogswell, and Cameron Hearn at the tail of the field. First to talk to, though, is JT Poole. Comes home 3rd place, sideways across the start-finish line. You had an enormous run with Doug Newbegen in the 71, JT, but out of turn 4, you had to pick a lane, and you gave the 73 the shot that let him steal the win away.
Oh, he's not in here.
Thought I brought him in here. I tried. JT, you got a copy?
I do.
All right. Well, we were just saying that you came out of turn 4 with a huge shove to the 71 of Newbegen and just couldn't quite get to the lead, so you picked a lane and gave the 73 the shot. Take us through your last lap and what it looked like out the windshield.
Yeah, I'd kind of thrown all my good track position the restart before. I was rolling into the start, and I gave Skyoli a bump, and I would hope he would go when I bumped him, but that didn't happen. So I stacked the top pretty bad, and we didn't get rolling. And then on that last restart, me and Doug had a huge run down the back, and I went high, and he didn't go with me. And I was pretty upset with that because we had a huge run, so I got in line with him, and I pushed him really far out in front and almost gave him the win, and I was mad at him, so I decided to sacrifice Jordan and push Jake to the win. So that was a pretty crazy race. There was a lot of saving and a whole lot of stacking, so that made everything pretty interesting.
Well, sometimes these races, you come out of turn 4 and you feel like you've got a shot at the win, and so it's disappointing. But for you, a third place, I mean, you're running up front most of the night, kind of slicing and dicing. Is the third fine for you? I know you were so close, so it's got to sting a little bit, but some drivers walk away with second and think it's the worst thing ever. So where's your mind at after this one, heading into the road race next week?
I'm getting pretty frustrated. I think I've gotten second 3 times in area and third probably 4 now, so we've been super close to wins, and I don't really know what else I need to do to close out and finish first. But I'm not that good at the road course stuff, so next week's a throwaway. And I'm down a race on everybody in points, so I really can't risk not finishing well. So really got to win to get into the playoffs. So see how the rest of the year goes.
One more question for you. What brand pizza there at the beginning?
It was homemade. Dad was making pizza, and I didn't know I thought I turned the camera off so I could eat, and then
now I feel bad for roasting it. I feel bad for roasting how it looked. I guess that makes sense.
It was an okay pizza. It wasn't that great. I got some feedback to give to Dad, which he appreciates. You learn from feedback, so
I guess so. All right, JT, third place tonight in the number 26 Chevrolet. Congratulations. We'll see you next week in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin.
Yep, thank you.
We move on now to our second place finisher, Douglas Newbeging. The checkered flag was literally 30 feet away, and then all of a sudden the 73 gets a big shot from behind. Douglas, second place tonight by 15 thousandths of a second. This has got to sting a little bit, but still a top 5 to take away.
Yeah, it definitely hurts. But, I mean, the best thing I could come out of this is, first top 5 of the season, which I needed that. And I'm pretty sure I'm in the playoff picture now. I was doing the math before actually the first restart happened, and I figured I was in because 2 of the people in front of me weren't in, and I was already in 14th. So I think now this puts me in a pretty good space where I'll be comfortable. But yeah, I was not expecting that one. I'll tell you that much.
Well, it was so close, and we were just talking with JT. He was getting frustrated because he's finished second a handful of times, but not much else I don't think you could have done different there. Put yourself in the right place at the right time. We go road racing next week, though, at Road America, the National Park of Speed. How do you feel about going right and left next week and going for a victory there?
I feel all right. Definitely not, my teammate James' level of road courses, but I feel pretty confident that I could get like a top 15, top 10. I mean, Watkins Glen, I should have got 5th in my opinion, but kind of threw that one away. But yeah, I feel pretty good though about Road America. It's one of my better houses, a lot better than Sonoma in my opinion. So.
Well, we wish you the best, Douglas. Hey, congratulations. A solid top 5 run tonight. Second place, but just. Thanks for chatting.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for being here.
Doug, before you go, an update on the points. You just now moved into 12th, so you're that final driver in 16-point gap between you and Jacob Bell.
It's that AP calculus I did.
Well, we're watching the bouncing and banging you guys did out of turn number 4 with Jake Nichols. It was a blast to watch. As soon as my cat lets go of my hand, I will move on to Jake Nichols here, but he's got my hand in his mouth, so it's going to take a second.
That's why I have a turtle, so I don't have to worry about that.
Turtles bite. That's a real thing.
I was going to say, I hope they're not.
You can pet them on the heads. They're nice. They're friendly.
All right. Hey, Douglas, congrats. We'll talk to you next time.
Yeah, hopefully I'll be back up here soon.
You hope so, too. Moving on now, it is Jake Nichols back in victory lane at Atlanta Motor Speedway, of all places. Jake, you started 28th. You ran there most of the night, and it was just plodding to execute to perfection. And then right place, right time. Almost got beat. You were losing coming to the stripe, and then all of a sudden, bam, you're in victory lane.
Yeah, I got lucky. I got a really good push from JT literally the last second of the race. I was trying to get on Doug's door and try to slow his momentum down out of 4. I don't think it would have been enough without that push. I was just starting to maybe make progress on pulling him back, but it probably would have been just as close, but roles reversed for their first and second. But, we just relaxed all night, took our time with our teammates. I wish they could have got a little more luck like I did throughout the race. Things just didn't play out perfect for them. But we'll take it with our Solar Flare Racing Camaro. I thought my good luck streak of top 4s was going to get ruined tonight with being super speedway. But right place, right time. We got we gained about 15 spots around that in the green flag pit stop, and so that helped a lot. And then we slowly moved back up, found ourselves in the perfect spot to stay out and get to second. And the bottom worked great on restarts. Everyone kept going top, and I was kind of confused because the bottom was just rolling really good. And dealt with a few restarts there. Had some good help from Jordan. We were working together there at the end, and I got to thank him. Without him, sticking with me, I probably wouldn't have been able to be up there. So thanks to him and their guys, and obviously everyone at Solar Flare Racing, and proud to be back in victory lane here.
It was a fun one to watch, Jake, and you coming out on top again. We go road racing next week, 4-mile track up in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. We wish you the best of luck there.
Thank you. See you there.
All right, guys, that was a fun one, to say the least. I'm so excited to be headed to a road course, though, next week, because we go slicing and dicing on the Jurassic Park of motorsports. One of my favorite places on planet Earth, Finian. We go road racing at Road America.
Yeah, I was going to say, looking forward to some road racing action for these guys next week with the Cup and the Pro Series heading to Road America and the Truck Series heading to Mosport. That'll be some fun action. But still have some Atlanta racing tomorrow night and on Thursday night.
Indeed, and Jake Nichols, although he had nowhere to go but up from starting 20th in the field, proved that it doesn't matter if you lead the most laps or where you start, just matters being there at the end, and in the end he was. And as soon as he got up to 4th, I go, oh no, look out everyone, because that 73 is coming. And he got the job done, second win of the year by 15 one-thousandths of a second.
I mean, what Atlanta's been delivering ever since we put it on the schedule. I may not like the racetrack from a driving standpoint, guys. I'm dreading tomorrow night, I'll tell you. But regardless, you can't doubt what this track has put on as a product for us here in area, and the amazing finishes we've had. I'm looking forward to Road America next week. We have some great road racers in the series. To see if James Scioli can hold off Jake Nichols, or if someone new can turn up like Ricky Springer did at Indianapolis Road last season. But for now, I'm going to turn it over to you so we can get going toward the trucks tomorrow night.
Truck racing tomorrow night at 8:40 Eastern from Atlanta Motor Speedway. But next week, the Cup Series goes racing on the 4-mile twists and turns of the Kettle Moraine region of Wisconsin. We'll see you there next week, and tomorrow right back here for the Area Truck Series. Kyle Heyer with Hunter Sleppy, Finn Indicuna, and Eric Wineland. We'll see you next time.